Welcome back to Chipmunk Crafting Corner. We're really glad to see you. Thank you so much for all my new subscribers. I am so excited every time we look on and we see more people that have subscribed. I hope that we'll give you some more ideas, help you to save some money, and help you to have some fun with your babies and your kids and your family. Today I'm going to talk about little things that you can make for your baby, including receiving blankets, burp cloths, washcloths, and I might think of something else by the time we get into this video. When I was a baby, our mothers always used white flannel for everything that we wore, were covered up with, were diapered with, and it was always the softest, nicest fabric for babies, cotton flannel. And I've got some little scraps here today that I'm going to show you what we can do with those. And there's lots of ways to get flannel. One of my favorite ways was always to go through the remnants that were left over at Joann Fabrics, and most stores I think have a remnant pile. And they mark the pieces left over down 50%, sometimes more. And you can always find little scraps of flannel that might be made into something nice for your baby. Also, we have what's called fat quarters. And you can buy these in Walmart, Hobby Lobby, Joann's. They're 1/4 yard of fabric that you can make into all different kinds of things, and sometimes you can get them in a pretty good price. I took one fat quarter and I cut it up into 4 washcloths. And if you've never used flannel washcloths, they're very, very soft for babies and children and even yourself. And they wash up really well, they dry fast, and you only need 1 layer. And if you're using them for washcloths, I don't put fabric softener on them because it makes them more absorbent to hold the water. So I'm going to sew around the edges on my little mini sewing machine and put a nice zigzag around. What I love about this little sewing machine is that it runs by batteries or electric. So when you have little ones running around, you don't need to worry about a cord to trip on. Whoops, I missed a spot. There we go. Just clip it. And I've got a nice little flannel washcloth. Here's another one I've already done. And you don't have to worry about being perfect. If you miss a spot, just back up and do it again. You'll get a lot of wear out of these. They will outlast the baby days. I've got 4 little washcloths all ready to go. And they are so soft. The next thing we're going to work on is a change-in pad or a protector cover for under your baby when you're changing their diapers. And here's 2 more fat quarters. And look at the pretty colors I can get. And this one has little pastel animals on it. And you can get creative and put a different pattern on both sides if you want to. This time I'm going to face the printed sides. And then I'm going to sew all the way around. And I'm going to turn it inside out and then do a top stitch over to finish. I'm also curving the corners on this too because it really is just so much easier to go straight around the corner. I'm all done sewing around and I left a spot open so I could turn my changing pad inside out. And also with the rounded corners, you don't have to do anything to the corners as long as it's trimmed around. It's fine to turn it inside out. It'll be nice and clean. I've got my changing pad all turned inside out and it looks really nice. And all I gotta make sure is that it's folded in where the opening is, and then you're gonna top stitch all the way around. And if you want to take an iron and iron it out nice and flat and get the edges crisp, that helps too. And I'll just finish this up and you can see what it looks like when I'm finished. I've got my changing pad sewed on the top stitch all the way around. Such pretty prints. I just love the pastels and they're good for girls or boys. It doesn't matter. Sometimes I think it's what the mom likes or the dad. I just love these and they can fold up so small. Look at this. Put that in your diaper bag. I want to talk about burp cloths today. And in the old days, the cloth diaper was a burp cloth too. And it doesn't really make sense to make strips of fabric just to lay over your shoulder for the baby. So this little changing pad right here, you fold that in half and it makes the perfect burp cloth. And if you have a baby that really likes to spit up, a super covered burp cloth. Now the last thing that I'm going to make is a receiving blanket. And receiving blankets generally are 1 layer of flannel. And see, there's no print on one side and there's print on the other, but that's okay. 1 layer is all you need for a nice receiving blanket. Of course, you're in control of how big you want the receiving blanket to be. And generally, receiving blankets are about 36 inches by 36 inches. So that's what I'm going to measure out. Okay, let me finish cutting up my 36 inch by 36 inch. and save that little scrap because you might be able to make something out of it. I'm going to fold this in 4. Fold it twice so all the corners are together. There, I've got all my corners right here. And just by looking at it, I'm going to take my scissors and round the corner off. If anybody wants to leave the corner, it's always up to you how you want your blanket. But I really like the rounded corners. Now, what I think I'll do is zigzag around the edge, and then I'm going to fold it over once. I like a nice soft edge. So here I go all the way around with zigzag on the edge. This little machine works so nice. I had to plug it in the wall because my battery started running low, but it really works well. I've got my zigzag edge all the way around. Now it's up to you how you want to make your edge. You don't have to zigzag. You could just fold it once and then fold it again to have a nice clean edge all the way around, and just top stitch over that. And you can go over it with an iron, and that will help hold it while you're sewing it. But I'm going, since I zigzagged it, I want a nice flat edge, so I'm just going to fold it over once. And I think I'll zigzag it a second time to make sure nothing frays. I've got my edge all finished. I just folded it over once with the zigzag, and it's nice and flat. Nothing will fray. You can wash it many, many times. And I just love the animal prints. And like I said, all the fabrics and prints are good for girls or boys. They love them all. So we've finished little washcloths out of flannel, nice and soft. We've made a changing pad that doubles as a burp cloth. And then when the baby's not burping up anymore when they get older, you can just use it for a changing pad. I love to make things that last for a long time. And then our last project was a receiving blanket, which most of the time is one layer of flannel, not too heavy, and you can wrap the little baby up nice and warm. And I love these animal prints. Many of the ideas I come up with are because we raised our family in the military, and I and my husband were Marines. I had to stay home and get out to raise the kids, and my husband did the retirement. And I had to stretch every penny. So if we have any military families out there, I would love to hear from you. And anyone, grandmas, neighbors, anybody that wants to do some projects and save them to give away or donate to the hospitals where babies are born, or just save them in case you meet someone with a baby. It's a lot of fun to make. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed, it's free. Please hit that subscribe button. We need as many subscribers as we can get. I want to keep making these videos, and hitting the subscribe button really helps us to get our videos out. Thank you so much. And we'll see you next time. And I think the next time I might be working with beadwork. If anybody loves to do beading, I weave beads, I make bracelets, I do all kinds of things. That's one of my projects I got coming up. And there's some other things. You'll just have to keep watching. I do candle making, and I'm a crocheter, and I'm a knitter, and you name it, I can do it. So thank you so much. And if you have any ideas, please send us a message. Thank you so much. Goodbye.